So decoding longer words, best way to do is via chunk.
Ranjana ma'am, I think you are muted.
Yes, sound it out. I hope it's audible
Yeah,
now.
yeah, now it's clear,
Okay.
clear. Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is a spelling trick, that is often taught to little children because it's so simple to use it. And if you're not sure how to spell a word, you can speak it loud very slowly, then write it down, and the way you hear it. Of course, this won't work with every word. For example, if I say the word friend, for example, does not sound the way it is written. But 50% of the words which are used in academic vocabulary can be sounded the way they are written, that they also sound the same. Only few exceptions are there, which do not sound the way they are written. So this is another way of learning pronunciation and speaking it out so that these spellings are very clear. Next would be draw a picture. So what would be the best way of drawing pictures? There are certain words which can be drawn. For example, if I say the word bed, B-E-D, just draw it. If you have a piece of paper in front of you, just write the word B-E-D, and you will find that it is, the way you see a bed, the spelling is also the same. Have you tried this? And what can we see in the picture? We can see a lot of balloons. Again, this is a word which is misspelled. They say 90% of the time a child misspells, this word. So he does not know whether it is a single O or a single L. So if you write this word, just write it on a piece of paper. The correct spelling would be Ballon. So how would I teach a child the spelling of balloon? There are two O's in it. That means there are two balloons. And the thread which holds the balloon, those are the two L's here. So this way, you can draw it on the board. The child can draw it. And in the O's, he can make a small face. And this spelling, he would remember. And obviously, when the exam gets over, the spelling would still be retained in the mind of the child. Now, word games, there are a lot of word games which we can play with the children. And the very good word game which we have done in many schools is Once Upon a Time. And this game, you can play it in the initial, starting of the session, and they say repeat it after 3 months and gauge whether, the child has been able to add on more vocabulary words to his repertoire or not. So once upon a time, there was a monster, right? Or a king, or maybe a princess, that the child has to decide. Now, if I say there was a monster, does the child have another word for it? I say beast, I say ogre. These are the words which I am giving. These are mentor words. Mentor word means which I am supplying to the child now, initially. And I check it after 3 months and I, see whether the child has been able to retain those words or not. Because spellings make no sense if you're not adding words to the vocabulary. So both these things go side by side simultaneously, that you have to add more words, give more words to the child. We cannot expect all the children to open the dictionary and find new words. So mentor practices are very, very important. And once upon a time, when I say a monster for the first time, after maybe a gap of 3 months, when you do it again, the child should be able to give you once upon a time, there was an ogre. Another child should be able to say once upon a time, there was a beast. So they will not repeat the word which I am speaking. So once upon a time is a card game, that lets you and your friends, they can tell a story, and everyone gets some cards that have story elements and one card that has an ending. So the narrator, that is the person telling the story, gets to start telling the story, trying to use the cards in their hand, and they lead the story to the ending. So the other players can interrupt by placing the card down and continue the story with different ideas instead. So it is a fun game where no one really wins. So the point is that to tell an interesting story, to entertain the child also, but thereby have fun trying to include as many vocabulary words in the story as you can. But then where do spellings come in? We keep writing the spellings on the board. So within a span of 5 minutes till the time the session is going on for storytelling, so you're not only giving a lot of imaginative ideas to the child, a lot of vocabulary to the child, but also helping him add on his vocabulary and learn new spellings too. So this is one game which should be played in the classroom, and this has done wonders in most of the schools. Another very popular game, which is categories. Now, in this game, you can make the child think outside the box, because when we do workshops on thinking outside the box, we are adding these type of games and we are taking feedback from schools, the schools which are doing these games. You are given different categories, like maybe I give the category of color, or maybe I give the category pertaining to the weather conditions which are there, things that are cold, and you have to think of words that fit those categories only. Now, if I ask you that I give you a category, things that are cold, right? So can you give me words related to it in the chat box? Yes, let's be quick. Can you give me a few words related to cold? What is the first word that comes to your mind? Just put it there in the chat box. Okay, ice cream, snow, very good. Yes, any other word? Sweater, okay. Okay, thank you for those excellent responses there. Now, these are the words. Okay, due. Due is another word which can be given. Now, when the children are giving words, they might give you words which they have heard occasionally, repeatedly, and they might not be those new words which you want to add to the child's vocabulary. So here, if I say igloo, so that would be something which is related to cold, and the category would be something that is cold. Now for an igloo, I can make it on the board. I can see whether it is in my EVS lesson. I would like to pick up those words, which the concepts of which I want to make clear later on also. Then I would teach the spelling so that when I come to that lesson, the spellings are not written in an incorrect manner and the child is able to draw it, correlate with those words. So categories will be selected on the basis of the lessons which you have to teach to the child. So that would be helpful. Otherwise, if I teach spellings which the child is not going to use, that does not make a lot of sense here. So there are different board games, which can be played here. So every time, a board game is played, it becomes difficult to manage it at times. So instead of you can make it on the board, and the child can make it on his notebook one day prior in any free period, and then when you are doing it in the class, they are not wasting time drawing it again. So each card in Taboo shows one main word, right? And below the main word, now what do we do? That you can find a list of words that are similar to the main word. Either they can be words having the same meanings, or they can be words which are closely related with the main word. Because now patterns are very important to be formed, and they say words should be taught in context, and these type of games help you do it. You don't have to tell the rules directly to the child that today we are going to do patterns. In case these kind of games can be done in the classroom, because with the NEP coming in, we'll have to think of a lot of ideas. Your task is to describe the main word to someone without using any of the words underneath it. That means if I write on the card elbow, right? Now, what is my aim? The words under it would be joint, arm, bend, knee. It can be a macaroni also. So we don't have to say the word. We can enact it also. We can draw it also. And this is how teachers have done art integration with these type of games also. Teaching few words which are academic words which are there in the book, and they can be taught. The spellings can be written after the drawing is done. The child is able to give them a word exactly what is being meant here. So again, here you can select the categories. In case of very small children, you can take pictures and you can stick them. You can give a lot of pictures and the child can stick the picture. So teaching spellings, keeping in mind different type of learners. Again, this is a very, very important aspect. How many of us are categorizing children into different categories when we are teaching them? Anybody? Are we categorizing children
We
into
normally do
different
that.
categories?
School, we do it for
Yes,
10 children.
we do that.
For 10 children.
Okay, how do you categorize them?
Ma'am, we papers and all, we make it simpler form, or we don't teach them the same way what is taught to the other children.
In the class, can we do that? It gets easy for you to do that?
No, ma'am. We find it difficult. We have to come with a different kind of activities for them.
Okay, so we do not categorize children in the class at all, right? That you should keep to yourself, right? We do not tell them, that they belong to a different category. So
No.
few children, they are put in they are learner, auditory and musical learners only. So if you have these kind of, enlisted activities with you, you can give 2 or 3 related every day. So you are in a way dealing with each type of learner, maybe different type of learners in your class, and all learners, will have the kind of learning through which they can learn more, right? Why? Because auditory learners learn to hear solutions and examples. So at time, what we do, we just want to write on the board and we are not speaking out the word. When I write on the board the correct spelling, I don't speak out that word, which is so important for an auditory learner. Right. So it is important for me in case I can have an audio, in case I can, my smart boards are there. And in case you're doing online classes, there are a host of things which can be done. So auditory learners often have a high aptitude for distinguishing notes and tones. And this can be done through your speech. It can be done through the music. So maybe a good ear, possessing a good ear for music and tones. And that is the reason why I added that video, because I want to stretch my teaching to each and every person, who's sitting in my class. If I talk about then how do you engage an auditory and musical learner? The recording lessons for later, because now that you're taking online classes, you can record your lessons. They want to hear the same instruction again and again, maybe. If music can be a part of the teaching learning process, that would engage the oral learners, and that would help, in fact, these type of learners. So it is not that, 1/4 learner would be auditory learners. It can be 50% of the class, maybe an auditory learner in your class. So just imagine when you're not speaking out that word and you're just writing the spelling on the board, only 50% of the children you are teaching. Your audience is only 50%. So visual and spatial learners, they are very observant. They are not easily distracted, but they need a diagram. So they need something to be drawn. And at times, few teachers speak and speak a lot, but they do not want to use the blackboard at all. So just imagine again, you are just reaching out to 50, although your strategies are very good, although your lesson plans are excellent, but still, that type of learning is not happening in the class. What can be the reason? Because maybe I'm not reaching out to the audience at all. And if I'm not reaching out to 100% of the audience, so my strategies, my lesson plans are of no use, and my teaching learning process, as they say in Kolb's learning experiential line, the cycle of learning, it does not complete one cycle at all. So somewhere midway only, I'm just, stopping that process of learning. And in this, they are not easily distracted. Why? Because they want to see the concepts or whatever you are teaching. They want to see it on the board. And in case here you have those colored chalks, it makes a lot of impact if you're using colors on the board. Right? For me, if I am a auditory learner, that visual concept does not affect me at all. But in case I am a visual learner, if you're using more colors on the board, it makes a lot of sense. So use color codes and cues, which is very, very important. And this is how you can reach out to maybe now the next 50% of your class. So we do not know which type of a learner, because we do not test whether that child who's sitting in my class is an auditory learner or a visual learner. So there are verbal learners, and the verbal learners you can find out because they are good storytellers. They will give you long stories, and they include both writing and speaking, this type of learning. It might be a preference for reading, writing, word games, poems, and the children, they want to go to the library, sit there and learn. So that is good. They are somewhere intellectual. And now these type of children need those extra kind of list of books which they can refer to in the library. So this you should cater to when you are teaching in the class. List of books should always be given, and you should know which books are available in the library. It is not that I myself don't go to the library and then how can I suggest books to the children? We cannot underestimate a child who is in class 1 or 2, because the books which interest him, if we don't push him towards that, how will he pick up a book? And for that, I have to be an avid reader myself. So verbal learners want to write down notes, and they take, they talk about concepts, and they present them as well. And logical and mathematical learners, obviously they go for pattern recognition. They are very good with numbers, and you can recognize them easily, because a mathematical learner would not take so much of interest in languages. This is how Gardner's theory of intelligence comes into play here. And how to engage a logical and mathematical learner, it is again because art integration is being done now. The reason is that children, mathematical learner would also go in for art, and a lot of colors should be depicted on the board to make your teaching learning process a wonderful concept to be there in the child's mind. It should not be that the period is over and the learning takes a full stop there. And physical and kinesthetic learners, obviously you can do games in which you can involve all the 5 senses. And this is how these children, even if you do an action song in the class, it makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of movement in the class. So there are ways and means of engaging kinesthetic learners in the classroom by, maybe if you are teaching spellings, they can clap. Wherever there is a double letter, they can clap twice. So these are very simple ways of teaching spellings in the class for social and interpersonal learners, good communicators. So the storytelling session will be taken up quickly by these type of learners. And we very well know how to engage these learners in the classroom. And in case you want to go in for solitary and interpersonal learners, they are introspective, they will not speak, but they are good writers. So they can, if you make a group, they are the ones who will write the stories. So, but we should take on a mixed learning approach. That would be the best. So you can give one, little activity from all the types of which can cater to all type of learners and engage all of them. Obviously, using our art and craft, when you're doing spellings, a lot of colors, crayons should be used. And certain games, you can plan in the classroom wherein a lot of words can be written, and then you speak out a paragraph and the child keeps cutting those words. And then when he's cut all the words and he says a bingo there, that means he's won the game. So children can write the stories in which these kind of words are there. You can give a cue before starting. So word heads can be given. If you give one word, ask the child whether it's an animal, whether it's a verb, whether it's a noun, and children can get words from the book. You can give a lesson from where they can pick up the word, and obviously they'll be able to learn whether it's a verb, noun, and whether it's a vowel sound, whether it's a consonant sound. This can be given initially as a list of words. So the best way to learn a spelling is to trace, write it, that means copy it. Same word can be copied and then recall it later on. So first recall should be on the first day when you have taught it. Third day should be recalling 7th and 15th day. If he is able to recall the same word, and then he should now move on to the next word. So this is how you can ensure that the child is learning well. And the floss rule, again, this is again a very, very interesting rule. Anybody who has done this rule in the class, I just wanted to know here. Yes, anybody who has done the floss rule?
Ma'am, it says that when the vowel is there in the word, we have to double the consonant.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. So in a one or in a single syllable word, right? If a one syllable word has only one vowel and ends in F, L, or S, then double the last letter. That is why floss rule is there. F, L, or S. Then you have to double the last letter. For example, if I say fill, fill is a single syllable word which ends with a L. So I can double the last alphabet. So these rules should be explained, to the children and give a list of words. Start from there. Root words again are very helpful, not only in the, maybe the spelling part, but also in increasing the vocabulary. New words can be formed, and this type of exercise should be done after every 15 days in the classroom. And there are n number of sites where you can take guidance and pick up these words which can be used as, or which are the academic words also. And this will help a lot. You will also find that children are, interested in learning spellings, and your effort in, making them learn spellings obviously will get reduced, and the fun-filled activity, they would remember it later on also. So with this, I would like to end the session. In case there are any queries, please let me know. And thank you for that interactive session, because I could see the answers in the chat box. Thank you so much for answering.
Thank you so much, Ranjana ma'am. It was a wonderful
welcome.
session. And I'm sure the participants have a lot of takeaways from this, because, the tips and techniques that you shared are really great. And I'm sure that with your help, more resources can be given to them. Especially you had suggested some videos. Some people were saying that they wanted that. And if there are some books also, is there any book that people can refer for teaching kids?
Books are there generally rules which are there in grammar books. All the grammar books you will find rules, but especially, that is the problem. There is no one specific book which you can see, because there are, n number of places from where you have to read, and then you will gather the information and then, take it on to the class. So this way, in case you want the videos, I can send it to you and you can send it to the participants. I can give you the names also later on. I'll just put it in the.
Yeah, if you have some YouTube
Yes.
links like the one you had played, probably you could share in the group. I think it will be.
I would
helpful
like
for all of us.
to give the name of a video in case you can download it and use it, because it's quite a lengthy video. I didn't want to use it here.
Ma'am, the link is enough. The link is enough. Yes.
It is Between the Lions. You can just note it down. Between the Lions, when the two vowels go walking. This is a very, very good video, and you can show it in parts in the class the way you want to. In case you want to give it in one go only, you can show it to the children. This is a very interesting video, and you will find out that, children, they start dancing with it, when they see the alphabets walking. So this I've seen it being used somewhere. That is the reason I picked up these, because they should be practical in the classroom.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
We can
I
take
just
up one or
wanted to know
two
which
questions.
class, and which classes are they teaching? In case
The
they want any
participants can
inputs.
interact. Yes.
Ma'am, this is Divya here. I'm teaching grade 1 CBSE board in Lagos.
Okay, great. In case any input, when you come to that particular lesson and you feel, you need more ideas, you can always be in touch. My email ID is right there. Because when we do the lessons practically, that is the time we realize that we need more inputs on this particular. Most welcome. You can contact me, and my phone number is there in the group. You can keep it, and anytime if I don't pick up the call, you can just leave a message. I'll be there. Don't worry.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
Yeah, ma'am, good evening. This is Janvi from
evening.
Sangli Poddar.
Hello, Janvi.
Yeah, ma'am. May I proceed?
Yeah, sure.
May I proceed, ma'am? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Sure.
Okay. Ma'am, first of all, thank you very much, both of you, for the wonderful session. It was really worth. Ma'am, we are going with symphonics, and in our school days, we did not had such type of program. Somewhere I feel like teaching English to them, like symphonic, it creating a little bit of confusion with the spellings and symphonic. So how can we deal with it? Because as it is an in-house program, so we cannot remove it, or we cannot, just shut it down. We have to go with it as it is our internal program. So how can I go with the spellathon? As I have mentioned prior only, that we have started. I personally started from my primary grade.
Okay.
So
See,
you suggest me like.
Right. So, see, teaching, I have given you different strategies. It is not that you have to get stuck to only, one strategy. So pick up any one strategy, which you feel children are happy doing it, children are learning more, and take a blended type of a strategy, but go in for the art integrated work. You will find, children, they enjoy a lot when they see those colors, in the spellings. Just try with the balloon technique with the 2 O's and the L's as the threads. So they would like to draw it and they would like to pick up. And we just told one word in the class. You wouldn't believe it. Children said we'll pick up more words, because I just had 1 day workshop and the teachers were telling me that next day the children want to draw it again. So they would pick up new words, any word which they want to, they would write, want to make a M into different ways they want to draw it. They want to make a hat on it. So they wanted to make a cap on it. So it was just, fun with alphabets first. And once they had fun with that, they were telling us how they wanted to learn spellings. So in a way, I feel, let's give some liberty to the children also, ask them. I have given you so many strategies, give different strategies, then ask them, which one they feel like doing. So let's do a blended effort with the children. So that would help a lot. And once you start doing it in the class, once you take their opinion also, it is not that we are forcing any one rule on the children. So there are, I've seen that the children are not interested in taking up the rules. They don't want to take up the rule part. So they just want to have fun and games. So in case that can be done, they are very, very interested in doing that. So I would like to have your input once you do this in class, that, what was the input there? And in case children were able to take on a specific one type of a strategy, which one was more beneficial to the children. So I would add on more to that.
Yes, ma'am, certainly.
Dropping E one we had tried in for the action words, and it was with the song I had introduced it, ma'am. There's a song on YouTube. So with a song, and that children till today they remember it so well. The parents are saying action words abhi sikhane ki zarurat hi nahi hai unko. They are so well versed with that. So
absolutely, excellent. And these videos, don't restrict yourself to maybe 1 or 2 videos, which I am suggesting. If you go on the net, there are n number of videos, which you can.
Yes, ma'am, there is a video one with the song drop E, when there is a silent E drop.
Yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
so that was a very nice one which the children really enjoyed. So my
excellent.
words
I'm so happy to hear that. Great. So now, that we are working online, this is how we have come to know that there are so many things which can be picked up. There's so many videos which can be placed. Okay. Thank you, Janvi. Okay.
Most welcome, ma'am. Really, we are waiting for, because we have been registering for such type of innovative ideas as we are going with the NEP. So every time we are feeling like something new should be given. But in the list we could not find. So I don't know how. Luckily, I got this and I have enrolled myself. So from the bottom of my heart, it was really worth watching and listening to you, ma'am.
No, I'll be doing a session on reading and writing section also. In case you feel interested, you can always join.
Yes, ma'am, very much. Thank you so much. Thank you to sir also.
Most welcome. Most welcome.